This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex, and this is, of course, the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight. And let me see here. Let me give you my picture. There we go. There I am. See me? See me? See me? How beautiful am I? I had to reset up my my key here. The key is the thing that cuts into the picture that allows me to use this here green screen. In a minute, I'll show you. See? That's the green screen to put my background. And for the last couple of days, I've had to reset it and get it all fixed up and so on. But I don't have to now. Welcome to the program. Welcome to our nightly foray into frustration about why the hell do we even do this in the first place. We do it because, well, we care. We care. Hold on a second. I gotta do something here. Boy. So it's always something else, right? Yeah, it's always something else. There we go. I'm having to set up my browser. I'm set it up because I wanted to. Well, you don't need to know how how this works. Okay, hold on just a second while I set something up here so that it goes okay, and I can start my my thing so I can see myself. Okay, good. Now we're fine. Okay, hello everybody. How are you? Really professional show, isn't it? Oh, all of a sudden, I'm a little. Oh boy, I don't know. To those people who are watching me on. Oh, I see. I know what it is. I know what the problem is. Hold on a second. All of this, there we go. I bet I'm going to be smoother now. I'm looking at my picture and I'm trying to see if now I'm smooth. Okay, it was because I completely rebooted my browser and it was cutting down. Forget it. I can't even explain any of this anymore, and I don't need to. But I have to talk myself through it in order to make it work. Okay? Anyway, Phil is waiting to come on here, so I just better bring him in before he gets all pissy with me. Let me see here. Let me bring him in. There he is. Hi there, Phil.
Hey, happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, give me a little more volume on your end.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. It might be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll try and figure it out.
All right. How's that? Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let me also put your name in here so that people know who you are. Okay.
Oh.
So, so when they tune into the program, they don't go, "Who's that ugly fat guy there?"
Yeah, Jewish fat guy.
Jewish fat guy.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
Well, did you have Mexican food today? Wear a sombrero?
I suddenly realized that Cinco de Mayo has been upstaged.
By what? Slap a comedian day?
No, by May the 4th be with you.
Oh well.
May the 4th. Star Wars Day. Yeah. It's a more important day to me than Cinco de Mayo because at Cinco de Mayo everybody just goes out and gets drunk.
Well, May the 4th be with you was so yesterday. You know, Cinco de Mayo is
Tamayo?
Tamayo, yeah. Tomato.
Yeah.
And potato. Yeah, how you doing today? You want me to ask how you're doing before we get into the nitty-gritty?
I'm tired today. I've been tired all day. I don't know why. Just tired. I didn't get out of the house much. I got to do something. I got to find something to do with my life, Well, that was the great part about having a job, that every day you had to go in and do something,
Can you go back to the gym?
I don't want to go back to the gym.
You still paying $15?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, but
if you quit the gym, you could get another online service for $15 a month.
Online service for what?
a TV or some.
Oh,
thing
you
that
had
don't
something
have
more to
yet.
make me lie in bed?
Yeah.
Okay. I subscribe to almost every one there is. I think the only one I don't subscribe to is Peacock because it sucks.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about doing what you did, which is paying $15 a month for YouTube non-commercial. The commercials are getting longer. They're getting more
no,
of
it's
them.
$11.95.
Really? Okay, because maybe out here it's $15.
Yeah, I like it without the commercials. It just makes life easier. Plus, you also get some movies with that too, but I've never tried those.
Well,
Okay.
Let's see.
What?
Yeah. Well, I watched Nobody again yesterday, and it's still a good movie.
That's a good movie.
You know?
Yeah, we're rewatching The Godfather tonight.
Really?
Yeah, we were watching it.
Which one?
First, The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
There's only one Godfather.
Yeah. Well, there was several sequels.
The other one's The Godfather Part 2.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But this was The Godfather, the original.
Yeah.
The one with all the great lines in it. Like, my favorite line, a couple of favorite lines in it, really. But the best one is leave the gun, take the cannolis.
All right.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's these memes going around on YouTube, and one of them is
There are mimes going around on YouTube.
memes. One of them. Yeah. Where's the glass? Yeah. Let's see. There's one with famous lines that everybody will know what movie it's from.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, what was that line from? Put the coffee down. Coffee's for closers.
That's what do you call it? The thing about the realtors.
Yeah, selling land. That's Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, and I never ever saw the movie, and I know that line.
Really, it's one of
Yeah.
my favorite movies.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes a few watchings, kind of the way Pulp Fiction did. It took a couple of watchings before I really figured it out and saw how good it was.
Have you ever watched a movie enough times that you realize how bad it is?
No, but I was when
Like, for instance, I give you an example. The Godfather, which I love. I love The Godfather. Who doesn't love The Godfather, right? I'm watching that series on how it was made, and it's a great series.
The Offer.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we watched the original Godfather tonight, and I got to tell you, what's her name? Keaton.
Talia Shire?
No, Keaton. Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
Horrible actress in that film. Just horrible.
Wow.
Especially when she gives that big speech about all this must end, Michael, and she's terrible.
Yeah. It's been so long since I watched The Godfather that I couldn't tell you what the deal was. I knew there was a horse head in a bed,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody sleeps with the fishes,
Mm-hmm.
and but that's about it. I guess. Is it worth watching again? I
Oh
guess
yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. But I mean, except for Diane Keaton.
Oh.
And that was a bad casting decision.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could have found kind of better Gentile actresses than that.
Did she sleep with Mario Puzo? Is that who?
No. Mario Puzo was married. Okay.
Well, that didn't stop us.
Yeah, but that's because we're lowlifes. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's see what's going on. I got aced out today. I put a bid in for a townhouse, and they were supposed to choose somebody, and I guess nobody bid as much as they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So then they counter offered, and they said, bid again. So I raised it a few $1,000s, and I didn't get it because the other person that was bidding against me
Mm-hmm.
put in an all cash offer, 14-day close. So if the place didn't appraise, it didn't matter they had an all cash offer. So
What's
I
an all
lost.
cash offer? That you're actually going to take the cash out of your pocket and hand it
Yeah,
to them?
you write a check and
So yeah, but you're looking to get a loan to
right.
do this. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, and yeah, a shaky loan at that. I mean, I qualify for much more than what I'm trying to buy. It's just that, yeah, I'm getting a loan. I was just going to put
Well,
down
you know
10%.
something? I got to tell you, when they do that whole thing about, somebody else is bidding higher, somebody's bidding lower, somebody's bidding higher. Do you want to bid higher? Yeah, I'll bid higher.
It's emotion.
At some point, you got to tell them to go fuck themselves.
Well, that's what I did.
Know.
I raised it $2,000, and but the thing was, I said this place isn't worth this much. And
well, when I came in to get this place, it was listed at $4,000 a month. All right, and then they
42?
they said that somebody else was bidding on it. It's a blind bid, so if I want to bid, go ahead and bid, and we'll tell you whether you got it or not. And we said 4,200, and we got it, which makes me believe there never was anybody else bidding.
There probably was. It's
but
just
prove to me that there's somebody else bidding.
they wouldn't even tell me what the other person paid. But the problem is, it's a buyer's market right now.
Mm-hmm.
But what's Deutsche Bank is saying that there's going to be a major recession. So maybe I'm better off not getting the place right now. You know how it's right now, it's a seller's market.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Every time there's a seller's market, eventually there's a buyer's market.
Mm-hmm.
And interest rates went up 0.5 point. And homes are starting to stay on the market a few more days, and they're not getting as many multiple offers. So I think that maybe the tide will turn, and next year I'll be able to get something.
Well, Marjorie, we've been thinking about maybe she should get rid of her apartment, but we're still not sure of the market right now yet, and whether it's not, maybe it's not a good time to sell. But it might be a good time to sell. We don't know. So I told her, call your realtor and find out what they think.
Yeah. Well, get the comps. What you want to do is you find out what other units have sold for, and if you're happy with that kind of money and a little bit more, then I just don't see the market staying this hot much longer. And people are always telling me, well, there's a lack of available properties. There always seems to be somebody dying, somebody getting divorced, somebody having business problems, and they have to sell their place.
Yeah.
And so that means that there'll be available properties. And the interest rates are up 2 points over, or 2.5 points over where they were a few months ago. And so that's almost a doubling in the cost of the of the unit.
They're upping the rent stabilization here in New York by like about 2%, I think.
Yeah.
Which means that on our $500, we'd have to pay $10 more a month.
It's a crime.
I mean, it probably won't stay that way for long. I mean, we'll probably get hit for,
Yeah. Well, if they go back to court, but who knows? Maybe
if they go back to court, the court might look at the whole situation and go, "Sorry, we're not changing it."
Right.
The judge, because the judge had a reason for doing it, and part of it was threats on part of the landlord towards the judge.
Oh, so he was being punitive to the landlord?
Well, I think he was. I don't know if he was being punitive to the landlord. But you take this to an appeals court, and they see that it's in the decision. He says, in all fairness and for complete transparency, this is what went on, and then he explained that he'd been threatened by the landlord. Okay, so the minute the appeals court sees that, what do you think they're going to think? Are they going to be kind to the landlord?
No, not necessarily.
Right. Right. So.
Well, there seems to be threats going on all over the place. Look at what they're doing to the Supreme Court justices now over this leaked Roe versus Wade.
What are they doing? And where did you get your news? Go ahead.
they're doxing the Supreme Court justices, and there are protests at the Supreme
What do you
Court
mean they're
justices'
doxing?
homes.
What do you mean they're
Doxing. They released their home addresses and personal information.
So?
Well, if somebody doesn't agree with what you say on this podcast or when you're on the air, do you want your address?
I think that the justices. Well, we don't know yet. I mean, the fact is that all this is that the draft has been released.
Supposition.
Supposedly, it came from Alito.
The draft, but not the leak.
The draft. It's not that the draft is going to be the final thing, and who knows? Roberts might change his opinion just based on the fact that it was leaked.
Well, what's his name from Ohio, the guy you talk to on Saturdays? He'd be an interesting one to ask about this. But what they say is that opinions go back and forth, and one opinion could be, well, we want to strike down our Roe versus Wade. Another opinion could be, we don't want to strike down Roe versus Wade, and they didn't release more than one opinion, and it's not a done deal until they issue their decision, and that was going to come, I thought, in July.
June or July, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I just think that the idea of the Supreme Court is that you couldn't fire these guys; they were hired for life.
Well, I think it's getting.
So they couldn't be. There could be no undue influence.
I think these people who are voting this way, to begin with, this is a constitutional right that was given by the Supreme Court 50 years ago. It's been in force for 50 years. Okay?
It's a right. It's not a constitutional right.
No, it's not a constitutional right, but it was deemed to be constitutional.
You're right.
Okay?
That's correct.
All right. So, therefore, they felt that it was embraced by the Constitution. Okay?
Well, the last several justices that were appointed all said that they wouldn't overturn Roe versus Wade.
Well, these guys, when they were in their, giving out their depositions or whatever that was, their
interview
testimony to the committee, all said that they wouldn't do anything about Roe versus Wade.
Right, exactly.
So they were lying through their goddamn teeth.
No, not necessarily.
Yes, they were.
No, because these opinions don't mean anything. They write them several different ways to see if they can examine the law from different perspectives. And what the deal is, I believe that the Democrats are so in the dumper when it comes to this midterm election that they need a cause to get the base riled up. And
so they
better cause can they come up with?
So they invented this?
No, somebody leaks something. You don't know if it's true. You don't even know if that's the way.
We do know it's true because Roberts said it is true.
Yes, but
Roberts said that was a leak of the actual draft. Yes,
an opinion.
No, the draft of the decision.
Well, let's see. I don't feel late-term abortion is right. And so,
well, listen, I might agree with you because I don't think that if a person hasn't made up their mind, say by the third trimester, then they're never going to make their mind up, or it's too late. I think that I think the second trimester, I would be happy if they agreed that you could, the second trimester abortions are okay. All right.
Well, I don't know medically enough.
And I don't really care. Less babies, less parking spaces. Okay.
Yes,
that's my theory.
Then they need the
less kids crying in movies. And less parents who don't know how to raise their goddamn kids.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got they're populating the country now.
And all I'm saying is to these assholes who are it's murder and it's this and it's that and it's horrible and it's terrible. Are you ready to adopt those children?
Many are.
No, they aren't. No, they aren't.
Do you know why they.
Do you know what certain companies are doing? You know what Amazon's doing? And I don't know, I think.
What, are they selling babies now?
No, what they're saying is if you live in a state and work for us and you want an abortion, we'll fly you to California.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The killing capital. So anyway, I'm ready to talk about something else.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's keep going with this for a second.
Okay.
I just think that it was something that's been law for 50 years, maybe more, and it to suddenly turn it around and say that, well, that other Supreme Court was wrong. You usually should stick by stuff like that, and now it's time to get on to something else.
Well, you're the one that has said all along that the Constitution should be looked at and revamped based on
no. But here we're not talking. You just said about the Constitution. We're talking about them determining whether the idea of abortion was embraced by the Constitution.
Well, maybe it should be unconstitutional because you have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Who? Babies who, if you were to rip them out of the womb in, say, the second trimester, would not be able to survive? They're not until you're a sentient being. I don't think that argument holds.
That's your opinion. I think that
Oh, come on, Phil.
Hey, then
did you ever hold on
legs.
a second? Did you ever get a woman pregnant you weren't married to?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I went to the Green Eye Clinic and paid for an abortion.
All right, so shut the fuck up. All right,
But,
you're not one to talk.
This opinion.
You're not one to talk.
No, it was before I formed this opinion.
I see. When did you form this opinion? Last Wednesday?
No, when I had my second daughter.
When you why? The first one you were willing to abort?
No, the first one we wanted. The second one was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Susan did was she, went to the clinic and there was a protest. And she said, well, I'll go another day. So when she came back, we just said, why don't we just have her? And so, we had her, and even though she doesn't talk to me,
that's because
she's a wonderful person and a good person. And
why doesn't she talk?
It would have been a shame.
Why didn't she talk to you? Although I can imagine why, but go ahead.
I don't know. She's very opinionated and.
Wait, lefty?
She doesn't talk to anybody.
Is she a lefty?
She talks, huh?
She a lefty?
I don't know. She hasn't talked to me since she graduated high school.
Really?
And she moved to Canada.
Really?
Yeah. And she definitely marches to the beat of a different drummer. And she rarely talks to Susan. Susan has to walk on eggshells because if she says something not quite the way the little one likes it,
now, how about the other daughter? You have a relationship with her?
Yeah, sort of.
What do you mean, yeah, sort of? Now, how come you don't seem to have good relationships with your kids?
Well, I didn't do a lot of bonding. I did a lot of things like the police work and stuff like that, and I wasn't really there for them. They didn't want me there either, but the mother spent a lot of time with them, and I didn't spend a lot of time with them. They were girls. I didn't have a lot in common, and and then the grandmother was poisoning them. The grandmother has a lot of money, so the grandmother made sure that they didn't need me. So there was no relationship built. And then I got divorced when they were 8 and 11.
Oh, that's why they didn't talk to you.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I didn't want the divorce. I got kicked to the curb.
Really? I can't imagine why.
Well, she thought maybe she'd find somebody that would be nicer to her than me.
Did she?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's still single.
Wow. Well.
Yeah. But she's got my old house, which is worth a lot of money in a very nice neighborhood, and I don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should have given her the business and taken the house.
So what other things in the news do you want to talk about?
Okay, Dave Chappelle. the attack.
Oh, by the way, I have a question, trivia
Yeah.
question. I got this. I did an interview with Bubs today, and he brought this up, and I didn't know this. Roe versus Wade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was Wade?
I don't know.
Come on, two people, somebody suing somebody else. Who was? Who were they? Who was Wade?
I thought those were not their real names.
Well, let me put it. No, those were that. But Roe wasn't.
Yeah.
Wade was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is,
that the father?
no.
Well, that would have been my guess.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Had Lee Harvey Oswald lived, he would have prosecuted him.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
No, you got me on this one. What's the answer, Karnak?
The answer to that question is he was the district attorney of Dallas.
I see. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so-
didn't know that.
Yeah. No reason to know
I
it.
didn't know it was a
it,
Dallas case either.
it happened 50 years ago,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, what else? Chappelle?
Yeah, that's-
yeah.
Yeah, that's like those firearms cases in California are all this guy versus Becerra, because Becerra is the Attorney General of California.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
You know, there was an attack on stage. His security.
Gee, we haven't heard about this.
Well, it doesn't matter.
In fact, I think we talked about it last night. But you were too busy.
That would
you
be
were
okay. If I
Too
listened
busy at Photo Club.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had Photo Club.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, far left group is pressuring Twitter advertisers because they don't want advertisers to advertise on Twitter because they feel they're trying to pressure Elon Musk.
They might not have to.
How is that? Oh, because he may not get Twitter.
He may not take advertising.
Well, they said that
He plans on turning it probably into a subscription service.
Well, I read that he was going to charge a very slight charge to commercial and government subscribers, but not general public.
Yeah. But we don't know yet whether that's even going to happen. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Let's see. Oh, Romney says Trump will win nomination if he decides to run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you think about this stuff that a comedian goes up there, and if somebody doesn't like what they're talking about, they run up on stage with a ersatz gun and a knife?
What do you think I'm going to think about it?
I think that's one way to get the comedians cheaper, because you got to tell them you got to pay for security. Yeah. Well, I guess a good slap to a comedian is makes a guy's day.
I guess.
What would happen to a guy like Bobby Slayton, who evisciates?
Forget it. You know, Bobby. I mean, I'm going to have to call him soon and talk with him. But the last time I talked to him, he said he didn't think he was going to be working anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that it was going to be increasingly hard for him to do his act anywhere. I mean, Dave Chappelle is not changing his act one iota.
Yeah.
But, Chappelle is also bigger than Bobby Slayton and can take the assault.
Yeah, well, Chappelle went after LGBTQ
RMSNLP QRSTBB plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the plus for?
I don't know.
Have you said
I
women?
don't know. Come on. Gay, straight, lesbian. If you want to go lesbian,
Well, I'm
bisexual,
plus.
I'll give you that. But come on, are we going to go on with transsexual? There's other sexuals now. In fact, if you carry that thing out, it's like taking pi to the 100th power.
Yeah.
I mean, it just keeps going on and on
They
and
will.
on and on.
They will. Let's see. Yellen finally says Biden's spending has fueled inflation. Janet Yellen from the Fed.
Where'd you read that?
Huh?
Where'd you read that?
It was some business magazine.
Yeah.
And they had a picture of her saying it. J.D. Vance, Ohio Republican, with Trump's endorsement, won the Republican primary for
What do you
Senate.
expect from a hillbilly?
Well, is he a hillbilly?
Yeah, he wrote Hillbilly Elegy about his upbringing.
Oh, well, then he fits right into Ohio. Hey, talking about hillbillies, I was watching this thing called the Whitakers. Now,
Yeah.
the Whitakers.
Excuse me, I'm going to bring some people in here.
Sure.
Okay?
You know what the Whitakers were?
What?
They were an inbred family in the Appalachian Mountains.
Wait a minute, inbred in Appalachia? Who would have thought?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and they can't even speak. They grunt. And there's this guy who takes pictures of them and he brings them to Walmart and things like that. Well, maybe are they from Ohio?
Yes, Alan.
So what we learned in the past half hour is Phil doesn't know the real estate market at all.
Yeah.
First he said it was
my
a
name
buyer's
off
market,
the, YouTube.
which of course it's not. And then he said, 7 words later, it's a seller's market. He knows nothing about it. He just proved that he knows nothing about the Constitution or constitutional law.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't a very good father.
And we know that you think that you know everything about everything, but you really know nothing about anything.
Well, that's the last lunch you get out of him, Alan. Yes,
That's
yeah,
right.
yes,
He
Charlie.
buys dinner. He buys dinner. And what are you talking about?
Yes,
Phil?
Charlie.
I have to disagree with Phil on that there's nowhere in the Constitution is abortion given as a right. Somebody should read the 13th Amendment to Alito. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction.
And who are they enslaving? They're enslaving and
the
killing
women.
children.
It's involuntary servitude.
It's
They're
not.
making it work.
The woman spread her legs, let a man stick his penis in there, and ejaculate.
Could you say that
And
a little?
now-
Could you say that a little slower? Excuse
and
me.
now, well, I
I'm
can't
sorry,
say it that slow.
That's not true.
Yes,
That's not true.
they need to
What about
cross
the kids
their
that
legs.
get for
Hey,
incest? Nobody's spreading their fucking legs.
look, all they got to do is they don't have sex. They just have oral copulation, because we know that that's not
I'm
sex.
sorry. Why do you get to say what anybody does with their body?
Yeah, I do, especially
Why?
when it's killing a life.
That's not a life. It's a fucking fetus.
Oh,
Even if
so
you're
or
alive,
hey,
what,
you
are
remember?
alive? Are you
You're old.
alive?
Hold it, Charlie. You're old enough to remember what we used to call people in Vietnam. They called them zipperheads. They called
I'm
them
old enough
goops.
to remember
Now
my
it's a
husband
fetus because
dying
it's okay to kill them.
Watched abortions before Roe v. Wade. I'm old enough to remember that.
Well, they didn't have to do that.
They didn't have to do that.
You know,
You don't have to.
They had condoms.
Control anybody's body.
Wait a
they
minute.
had
Wait
condoms
a minute.
long before they had Roe v. Wade.
Why can't I tell you what to do with your blood? Even if you fucking die, they can't take your blood without your permission.
They don't want it.
But women, you're gonna force women to give up the use of their uterus. And you know how many women die in child? U.S. has the highest rate of maternal mortality of any developed country in the world.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't
so
talk
now
about women's lives, but you care about the goddamn.
so now
people.
Bangladesh has got more advanced medical than we do.
You care about the stupid fetus, but an actual woman, an actual life, she doesn't matter.
Well, she made a choice, and that choice
That's her
is
choice,
resulting.
man, just like
No,
you
no,
made a
Charlie.
choice.
That choice.
Wait a
is
minute.
resulting in a life.
Phil.
Yeah.
Are you hearing how sexist you are here?
All
You're saying, wait a minute.
hear
No,
is-
wait a minute. All of your defense of this whole thing was she did this, she did that, she did
Right.
this, she did that. Have you ever heard it takes two to tango?
Yeah, and the male should be involved in this too. But once you create a life,
Well, how
You
does
have
a
a
guy
responsibility.
have to be involved in this? Once
Yeah,
she's
you
pregnant.
have a-
Wait a minute.
you have a
Wait a minute. Hold on a second,
responsibility.
Phil. Once she
Yeah.
once she gets pregnant, he can leave town. He's not pregnant. He isn't stuck with the baby.
yeah. But if she goes after him,
No. If he leaves town and moves somewhere where she can't lay her hands on him or is in another jurisdiction, forget it.
They got ways of doing that.
And by the way, who's got the money to sue him?
Well, you go after child services.
Kill the fucking guy that made her pregnant.
Phil,
Services.
what you're doing is you're saying it's all the woman's fault. That's really what you're saying
No,
here.
wait a minute. I'll answer your first question.
How many
Child
agree with me
services
that
and
that's what
welfare-
he said? Would
Welfare
you raise your hand, please?
Welfare ends up paying for the child, and welfare ends up going and going after these guys for the support.
Oh yeah, they're really good at that, aren't
laid
they?
out.
Aren't they good at that, Phil?
Well, you like government services. I'm sure they're as good as the next government.
Phil, did you have sex before you got married?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you use a condom every time?
No.
Only
Then
when it was
fuck
the
you.
size.
Fuck you with your morality. It's so vacant. It's ridiculous.
This is a different time. This is
What's
a
the
different
time?
A different time.
Hey,
What was it?
yeah,
3
yes,
o'clock.
They,
What?
now they take the pill, or they have an IUD, or there's lots of ways to have contraception rather than abort a child. And you know who is losing in this thing? Why did
You know who's losing in all of this? Those backstreet
people.
abortionists who used to have a
No.
business going for
They
them, and they
created-
don't
You
anymore.
black women are 4 times as likely to die in childbirth as white women.
let me tell you
Don't give me
something.
Shit about you protecting black women.
What is the Planned Parenthood? Planned Parenthood was not only formed by a racist. It was formed.
It was formed by a racist.
Yeah. What was her name? She was a racist. And
Is that the woman who was here in the?
Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't around then.
no. The woman who started Planned Parenthood. I forgot her name.
She was here in New York.
Was she?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the majority of babies that are aborted are black.
That is bullshit.
Well, why don't you look into it? Because I'm telling you that's
If the majority are black, it's because the majority of the black women are choosing to get abortions. There was nobody out there forcing any women to get abortions.
they're making it very easy for people to get abortions and therefore to kill or stop someone from their life and their right to liberty and
A
pursuit of happiness.
1-day-old baby, if that baby will die without your blood, fuck the baby, they're gonna just die unless you give permission. But a day earlier, the woman has no choice. The baby
The
gets
woman has a
to survive.
choice. She has a choice. She can cross her legs.
I'm sick of that. God, you can't get more sexist than that.
Hey, it's
Women
real.
cross their legs. The fucking guy.
Everything.
fucking
Hey,
murder.
you libs. Everything is sexist, racist.
Well, that is sexist.
That's the argument
That is
for
true that
anyone.
the guy goes scot free.
And to raise your voice. That's the argument for anyone that
Sorry,
disagrees
women are gonna fucking
with your
die.
nonsensical
This is life
position.
and death. Women are gonna die. I'm sorry I raised my voice. I'm getting upset about it.
All right. Don't have a heart attack.
Let me interject here just a second. Last week when Phil was spreading his rumors and lies, he turned red, and he's turning red again.
It's this
Oh
lighting.
sure it is.
Well, at least I'm not turning orange.
You got $10,000 worth of equipment sitting in front of you or more,
Yeah.
and you're still red.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Hair's
The
not
woman you
important.
were thinking of was Margaret Sanger.
That's it.
Yeah.
And she was a racist.
No, she wasn't. No, in fact, I looked it up and it said there are a lot of rumors that she was, but it's not true.
There's a lot of what that she was?
Rumors.
Rumors.
Oh, rumors, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But probably started by a lot of racists.
Republicans, did you say?
I'm sorry, Phil. I've got 2 daughters, and I don't want my daughters living in Gilead.
Well, I have 2 daughters too, and I want them to be happy, but I also want them to respect life. And,
You talk about respecting life. Who has less respect for life than Republicans who don't want to have food stamps, who don't want to have welfare, don't want to have child support?
Well, it's very simple. because what you're doing is you're crippling people by doing stuff for them. If people were to do what they need to do and pull up their bootstraps, then, you know, what did Jesus say? If you give a man fish, he'll have food for the day. If you teach him to fish, he'll have food for life.
Say if you don't like fish.
After the baby's born, we don't give a fuck what happens to him. That's what you're saying.
No, I give a damn, but I don't think that there should be multiple generations of welfare recipients.
I'm buying drinks.
What happens if you don't like
Good
fish?
idea.
What?
Say if you don't like fish, what do you tell Jesus? You got anything else?
Well, times are tough. I like steak myself.
Yeah, so
You
do
can
I.
steak in here, but you go with either Romans.
Yeah. Well, you know, I can always eat fetuses. You know, they're you know, nothing more than steak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, are we all through yelling at each other?
I think so. Hey, you know,
This is really the opposite of our Monday show.
I was
Totally.
just thinking the same.
how much digital social credit would we get? You know, they're talking about.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on a
social
second. You're
credit.
changing the topic.
No, I'm tired.
No,
of,
you're tired of it
of
because you're losing it.
I'm not losing.
Yes,
I have a
you
different
are the
opinion.
most hypocritical
Wait
human
a minute,
being
Troy.
I have ever met in my life. Let me finish, Phil.
Okay.
My turn. Okay, I've shut up for the last 5 minutes while we listen to you yell at other people. Okay?
Me?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Charlie's the yeller.
Oh, Charlie very seldom yells. Charlie most of the time is very in step with his feelings and puts them out very nicely and so on. But you enrage him.
Good.
Okay. But the point is, Phil, that you are a hypocrite of the worst kind because you admitted that you went out, you had sex without condoms before you were married, and maybe when you were married, I don't know. You know.
Well, it was legal. It was legal, and you could have
What was
abortions.
legal?
Abortion.
Abortion. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was legal when you were growing up.
No, when I was getting, you know, when I was paying for them.
Yeah, but you had to go to some back alley abortionist
No,
or you.
Planned Parenthood. It was $200.
That's
Oh,
it.
oh, yes, it once became legal. Yeah, right.
After 73, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Green Eye Clinic on Bush Street. I was a regular. customer.
Is that the Green Eye Clinic or the Green Eye Clinic?
Well, I think it was called the Green Eye Clinic, but that was the Planned Parenthood clinic on up in Pacific Heights.
For an extra $6, you get your eyes checked.
Nah, I don't think they did any eye checking.
Yeah. Yes, Charlie.
All I want to ask is that if we're going to ignore the involuntary servitude part of the 13th Amendment, why don't we just ignore the slavery part? Why don't we just bring back slavery?
You know something? That's kind of
A bad
possible
idea.
with the decision that the Supreme Court is about to make. There could be other ones like outlawing gay marriage.
Yeah.
And bringing back certain levels of slavery, allowing literacy tests for voting.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they're going to just start killing Jews and putting them in concentration camps. You know, you guys come up with
something. If
all
Trump,
these
if
possibilities.
Trump and his people had their choice, they would go after the Jews.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, Trump is more pro-Jew and pro-Israel.
Oh no,
than
he's
any other president
no,
we have.
he's not.
Right.
No,
That's
he's
why in
not.
Charlottesville, he was saying there were good people going out there
He
shouting about.
said that's not. You took it out of context. He said some of the people that were protesting.
Well, let's
were
go
good.
into context, and it still sounds terrible.
Well,
Right.
if you pull it out of context and you make it sound the way you want it to.
What he said, there were good people on both sides, and one of the sides that was marching happened to be Nazis. Well,
Well, there
I'm
was a lot of
sorry.
people-
I'm sorry, but I never met a Nazi who was okay in my book.
There was a lot of people who wanted the statues to remain and not to be torn down, and that's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking
No,
about
he
Nazis.
wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Hey, are you, Jeff? Are you in a hotel room somewhere?
Yes, I am.
Where?
Motel.
In New York.
New York.
My son invited us to go out.
Wait a minute, can you see me waving?
No,
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't go.
no, I can't. Close, but
Yeah.
no cigar.
Invited you to go out to dinner, but you had to pay for the hotel.
Yeah, but they went to see classical music
Nice.
because that's kind of what his specialty is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, is we got to meet for the first time his new girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, she was very nice.
Very nice, huh? Okay. How old's your son? Is he your son, you said?
30.
Your son?
Yeah,
He's
that's
30. Oh,
Andrew,
okay.
the young one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 years old.
Wow.
Okay, how old's his girlfriend?
30.
Oh, really? So they're both the same age. How nice.
Yeah, just about.
Has he been married before?
Neither one of them.
Neither one of them. So it's very, very, very nice little things happening.
Yeah, they seem to really like each other
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Has he paid for any abortions?
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
I've never.
Hopefully not.
leave it to Phil to take it into the toilet.
That's
We
Hey,
didn't
my,
ask.
my buddy just sent me. He's on the cover of Country Music Insider.
Who cares?
They indoctrinated him into the Country Music Hall of Fame today.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His name.
Barry Mardit,
Who?
Mardit.
He was in the radio business. He played country music and the
It was a PD.
program director.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thought maybe I'd heard of him since I've been listening to country music for 30 years.
No, he was behind the scenes. He
Yeah.
worked for
Yeah.
Disney for 16 years.
Yeah. Jeff, you had your hand up?
Yeah, well, besides that kid, Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
I have two older kids.
Mm-hmm.
One's a lady and one's a man.
Mm-hmm.
And they both have two girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I have four granddaughters.
Okay.
Nice.
And I think everybody has had this discussion in the last week.
Really?
Yes.
And they didn't call Phil for his input.
Right.
I thought I got a call, but I didn't have time to answer. I thought it was Tony, and so I hung up on him.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That now what was the point we were making here? I had a thought on it. Oh well, I forgot.
That Jeff's a good father and Phil wasn't.
Yeah, that's for starters.
Well, you got to bond with the kids.
Well, it sounds like he's done a good job of that.
Yeah, he probably has. Hey, so
See,
I
he
guess I'm not
you notice
gonna
how he
get-
changes the subject. You notice how he changes the subject.
He's going to talk about somebody else that he knows that recently bought a sewer system.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was you.
No.
No. Hey, 33 billion for Ukraine, but 10% for the big guy.
He got 10% of that.
Who's the big guy?
They
Biden.
Motherfucker Sunday.
10% for the big guy.
Yeah,
That's
that's the deal that Hunter Biden made with all of his buddies.
Oh
Good, yeah.
God.
But hey,
Everybody have a
33 billion
drink.
is going to Ukraine, and
Frank,
10% goes to the big guy.
even if that were true, none of that went to Joe Biden.
Everybody had
Yeah.
2 drinks at the same time. Okay.
And you know that Joe Biden paid the legal bills for the China business for Hunter. Now,
Good.
and this was a leaked email.
Where did you
from the
read all
emails
this?
that
Where
were
did you
recovered.
where'd you read all this?
The emails that were
Where did you
recovered.
read all this?
I read it online.
Where?
But-
Where?
Where? On my phone. All I had to do is I go to my phone and I can
Where?
And-
The Hollywood zine that you
I can unload news or download news. But aren't you familiar with the laptops that Hunter Biden dropped off to the blind guy in
I
New
heard
York?
about that whole story.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And
Yeah.
now New York Times has said that these laptops and the story is credible. So these
Again,
Really?
nothing to do with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
yes, they directly do. The
Oh, shit.
the emails.
Look,
actually-
you want to say that Joe Biden is kind of a disappointment as a president? I'll be happy to agree with you on that one.
Yep.
But to whether he's been in any nefarious situations, I'm going to say that I honestly believe Joe Biden is a far more honest man than that.
How about we talk about
We'll
something
see.
interesting, like the Johnny Depp thing?
Oh yeah, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. Now,
Boy, are we
that-
jumping all over the place to not get
that's
back
what
to
I call the
abortion.
ramble.
Oh, well, let's get back to abortion. You're the host.
No, you're putting the R in Ramble for damn sure.
The right wing are. But I've been watching this Johnny Depp, Amber Heard thing.
Sorry.
Are you tired of those guys? Are they just?
Well, I understand. That there's a decision that's going to be made soon, by the jury, and the winner in this gets a statuette.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Because
do they get
it's two of
clapped?
the biggest acting jobs of the year.
Yeah.
That's right.
And actually, she's a better actress than he's an actor, so,
Well, he just sits there with his head down on the table,
Yeah,
exposing his ponytail.
I went to,
You're
when
just
he-
lucky.
Wait a
that
minute.
he
Let
has
Tony
hair.
talk. Tony hasn't said a word tonight, which is a blessing, but go ahead, Tony.
because it's not bound by prostrate. But anyway, I like the movie director Jim Jarmusch, and I remember going. The only time he made a movie with him was Dead Man, and they didn't play in Queens, so I had to go all the way into the city to see it. He was horrible in the movie. The only good thing about Dead
He's
Man
never
was,
been a very good actor.
I was going to ask you, was he a good actor?
No.
I would actually like the soundtrack by Neil Young, and Iggy Pop was in it.
No, I don't think he was
wasn't
that good.
really, right?
No.
He's about equivalent to Ronald Reagan when he was in movies.
And that was the last movie that Robert Mitchell was in, Dead Man. I remember that's why I went to see it too. That was about it.
It was the last.
I like the way he makes movies, too, Jim Lucy, how he films it. So, but I was like Johnny Depp. He was like Pit Wood in that movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Tim Burton stuff he's done, has really been likable because of Tim Burton's.
Yeah, I was going to say
Picture.
I'd go to see Walkers of Tim Burton.
I mean, Edward Scissorhands is an interesting, strange movie.
And
Okay.
Bobby Slayton was in it, right?
No,
Really?
he was not. Everybody have a drink.
I was going to say.
I thought he was in it.
No.
I mean, he was.
No,
good.
he was
Which
in
one
Ed
was he
Wood. Ed Wood.
Ed Wood. Okay, Ed
He was
Wood.
in Ed Wood.
What do you,
I saw that in the theaters. That's he won Best Actor.
say
Supporting
this,
Actor.
Phil. I was wrong.
Okay, wrong movie. But one guy was laying wood, and the other guy had scissors. What can I tell you?
Actually, he wasn't bad in that movie, Johnny Depp. I thought Landau stole the movie as Bela Lugosi.
Oh, I got to ask Charlie this. Do you think that the Chinese forced organ harvesting is wrong, or is that okay too, along with abortion?
Oh,
What
fuck.
do you mean forced organ? You mean after the person's dead?
No, they're taking organs from living people, like the Uyghurs.
Yeah, exactly. For the same reason, I think you have no business telling a woman what she can do with her body. You can't take people's organs from their bodies.
Yeah, but
People
they're-
have to have autonomy over their own bodies.
yeah,
He was
okay.
hoping that he could buy another penis.
Now
End
that
up
the
at
people
the end of the line.
that don't want to get a vaccination, whether they're saying it's my body and I want autonomy over my body, that didn't count now that it's the women's right to choose, right? So, last week it was
Wait a
you
minute,
got to
wait a
get
minute.
a vaccine,
Bullshit.
and if you don't like it, you should eat shit and die. But now a woman,
Fine, you don't want to take a vaccine? Stay away from people because you
Oh,
can kill
you don't want to
somebody
get
else.
pregnant?
No,
Cross
you
your
can kill
legs.
somebody else. Nobody ever got killed.
Phil, you don't want to get pregnant? Have your guy squeeze on his penis.
Well, the FDA,
or hit it with a hammer.
Pull out.
Hit
the
it.
FDA is saying that J&J, Johnson & Johnson.
Wait a minute.
is
See,
causing
he's
blood
changing
clots.
the discussion
No,
again.
no.
He's
It's
changing
the
the
same
discussion again. First,
All
you
I'm
asked a
using-
question about do you think you should harvest organs off of a live human being, which is a ridiculous question. Of course you shouldn't.
All right.
Okay.
So by your argument, the fact that you can force a woman into have it giving
By
birth,
the way, a fetus is not an organ. By the way.
No, it's organs that belongs to another being.
That haven't yet come to fruition. Hey, you don't want women to have an abortion after a certain time. Yank that baby out at 2 months, in the beginning of the second trimester, and see if it can just survive there on the table.
Well,
and if it
okay,
can't,
so you take a 3-year-old and push them into traffic and see if they can
let's
survive.
consider abortion early delivery.
Nah, well, that's your choice. I consider it
And
murder.
if the fetus that you pull out can still live and operate on its own, then you let it survive.
That's your opinion.
Hell, I'll be happy to adopt it.
when a regular person cannot use that woman's body.
Hey, Alex, you'd be happy to adopt it? You don't even want to get a cat right now.
And this adoption argument is bullshit because women still die in childbirth. You're gonna force some woman to carry a child to term, and then they're gonna die. While you're gonna go to jail for murder? Then
Anybody could die having an operation, or
Right, that's why you don't force people to have operations. They choose to have operations.
Not necessarily. You're in a car accident and you're all banged up. They put you under the knife.
That's because you're not conscious enough to make a choice. A woman is not unconscious. She can make a choice.
The ones that dated me were.
All I'm saying is, Phil, listen to yourself.
That was a clue, Phil.
Listen to yourself, Phil, in all seriousness. You're telling a woman she knows how to cross her legs. It's not her job. It's the job of the guy as well. But she has really, if she gets pregnant, he just has to say, "Oh, it's not mine," or "I'm leaving town," or whatever.
Well, they got DNA.
She's still pregnant after he leaves town. She has no choice. She can't go out and get an abortion, so she doesn't have to have the child and can have one at some future date when she really wants it.
Well, you end up loving the ones that you have.
Really? Well, how's that going for you?
Yeah, really.
I love them. They just don't love me.
There's still time. Maybe call her up.
Maybe if you loved them a little more, they'd be nicer to you.
Instead of looking for a house to buy, send them each $10,000.
Believe me, I send.
Yeah.
Hey, I just donated to the new somebody running for the DA in Contra Costa County.
Why?
Why? Because she's a Democrat.
What? What happened?
Yeah.
Why I know, but I'm going to let him explain why he's doing it.
Why is he doing it? No, you tell us, Alan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because he's looking for a license to carry a concealed weapon, which he should have got. He earned as a retired cop at Richmond PD. They're jerking him around because it was 15 or 20 years ago. And so now he's going through the sheriff. But you got to play politics, and you got to look like you're pro this, that, and the other in the county, not just living there, in order to get the license. I mean,
that's part of it, but I also support her position. She's pro-police.
Well, that's good.
Be
the first DA that was pro-police.
Yeah, and I like the sheriff too. He's a good guy.
Well, what is she pro-police about?
She prosecutes crime. When police arrest and the DA decides to charge, she prosecutes them, and she prosecutes murder. She doesn't return people back out into the street like they do in New York.
Or in San
Francisco or Los Angeles, where they have all these progressive district attorneys. And I think in Charlie's neck of the woods, was that Austin? Do you have a progressive district attorney that is not supporting bail, that supports no bail and to put people right back out on the street?
Yeah, what's that got to do with anything?
Well, it raises crime, and it makes things unsafe for law-abiding citizens.
I
I don't feel unsafe in Austin.
You don't go out of your house.
I don't feel unsafe in New York.
You don't go out of your house either.
That's correct.
Right. Wouldn't you like to be able to?
I would like to if more people wore masks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean, doesn't 1 million dead people in America now seem to say something?
you know, bandits wear masks.
I mean, your guy
Don't
Trump
do
said,
search.
"Oh, your guy said
That's
this."
right. Doctors wear masks too.
Yeah.
Biggest bandits you ever
Two,
met.
2 years ago, Trump said, and maybe it was longer than that, 2 years ago, he said, "Oh, this whole COVID thing will be over with within a couple of months."
Within 2 weeks, it's
Now-
okay.
Within 2 weeks,
Like
and
you
now
were
and now we
20
hit our
years
1 millionth death.
It has been said that Trump was being fed misinformation when at the beginning of COVID to make him look bad.
No, he was spreading
He did that
misinformation.
well.
Oh, he knew.
He was being told
He
by
was
Fauci.
spreading misinformation.
I'm
That
sorry,
he
he
was
was
given-
telling Bob Woodward he knew facts about how bad COVID was back
Yeah, well,
in January.
A
Trump was
typical
being given-
Republican move.
was-
Blame
was-
somebody else.
No, Trump was being given misinformation by others in order to make him look bad.
So, and then a couple months went by, and then he started using his own head, and the two brain cells started working, and he spread his own misinformation.
No,
For
he was
4
probably right.
The reason
You know?
people were dying in this country is because he wasn't telling them to wear masks, and he
Right.
wasn't putting out mask mandates. And
Biden
you
is.
know, what?
Biden is telling people to wear a mask,
Absolutely.
and Biden is telling people to get vaccinated.
Absolutely.
But how come there's just as many, if not more, in the same period of time of deaths under Biden as there was
These are
Trump?
all people that don't wear masks and don't.
No,
get
no, you
vaccinated.
can't tell me that it's 1 million people that don't wear masks. But
Of
by
those
the way,
million people, I guarantee you over 90% of those people were not vaccinated.
Absolutely.
they didn't have a vaccine when Trump was president until his last days. Right?
Yeah,
you know-
well, if you want to get technical, Phil, the Wuhan is what it's called. The Wuhan COVID, before they came up with Alpha, Beta, Charlie, and all that,
Oh, that's
but was very deadly to people, but not as deadly as Delta. And Delta came along under Biden. Okay? And look at Omicron. It came along under, and they both came from out of the country, so you can't blame Trump or Biden for it. And that's why the death rate's so much higher. And Charlie's right. Most of the people that are dying, now that the vaccine's out, most of the people that are getting sick and dying are the unvaccinated.
Yeah. Well,
Those are the facts. Follow science.
well, I did. See this? I took a test today,
Jesus Christ.
a COVID test.
I don't advertise that. You can't advertise on the station.
Well, it's not an advertisement. This was a free test, I think. But
So that's why you used it.
it's on the C. Now you would think that the C was for COVID, but the T is for COVID. The C is for the basic test.
You know what it
Here.
stands for, the C?
No,
It's control.
control.
You know a
Right.
little bit about, it's a control. And so it tells you that you have enough liquid and something in the liquid that the test will be valid.
Okay. Well, I got a C. Yeah.
That's good.
I got
Okay.
the C.
Well, that's good. So the test was right. And then the other line, if that shows up even faintly, you've got COVID.
No, well, I don't have COVID.
Good. I'm happy.
2 customers this week said that they were exposed to somebody with COVID, and so I figured, all right, I'd wait a couple of days and then I'd test.
5 days, no symptoms is when
Nothing.
you're supposed to test. Right now, that's what they're saying.
5 days with no symptoms is when you're
Yeah,
supposed
if
to
you have
test.
no symptoms, you wait 5 days and test.
Well, it's good. I did.
Yeah, sure.
Did you wait 5 days?
Yeah, the first exposure, yes. The
But you're
first,
vaccinated and double boosted, and so your chance of getting really sick and even more of dying or being hospitalized is very small.
well, based on this, I don't think COVID exists.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sick.
Now he's starting to sound like Trump.
Yep.
Oh boy.
No, I'm sounding like Jack Bishop.
Well,
Jack wouldn't say that.
no. Jack's joining us. Apparently, something was being said that bothered him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Two things bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
One, have you ever noticed how cops always think the solution, or ex-cops think the solution is locking people up?
Yes.
You notice that? And sooner or later, those people are coming home. You can't stop it unless you make it life sentences for every damn crime in America.
You see this?
Yeah, I see it.
Neighborhood Restorative Justice Partnership. I am part of a group in the DA's office
Yes.
You told
that
us
is
about it 3 weeks
helping
ago.
people stay out of jail.
And the way you do that is providing income for people not to go to jail.
You know,
People go to
most
jail in
people
this
that get-
country because they're trying to be part of the American capitalist system.
Well, wait a
You know
minute.
that, and I know that too.
Jack-
Don't lie about it.
Most people that get something for nothing
Boy, this is so the opposite of Mondays.
don't appreciate it.
It doesn't matter whether they appreciate it or not. It's whether or not you put money in their damn pocket so they don't have to break it and steal grandma's TV set.
But they'll do that anyway.
No,
Yeah.
they won't. No, they won't.
The price of drugs will go up.
Hey,
Yep.
we make drugs legal in this country, have the government tax it, have them sell it like they're supposed to goddamn do anyway.
So they'll charge $6 a gallon for it,
So
just for regular.
we do that for gasoline, don't we?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you see people stealing a lot of gasoline?
Yes. People
Okay.
are puncturing the bottom of gas tanks and siphoning out people.
Then that's because this country is a bunch of wusses, and the government won't nationalize these oil companies.
It's because those people are thieves.
Well, hey, then have them show the criminals how to be better criminals and make money doing
Well,
it.
if they go to
No.
jail, that's where they learn how
No,
to
have
In
them
Richmond-
running the classes out here before they go to jail.
In Richmond, they were paying thieves $1,000 a month not to steal.
And what did they have them doing instead? How about
They
being
ga-
policemen?
they gave them
How about-
$1,000 a month.
How about being policemen and patrolling their own streets like God intended?
Listen, hold on just a second, because you're the second black guy tonight who's gotten red in the face. Okay.
I thought I was red.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, but both of you are in a risk group for hypertension. Okay.
Yep.
So
I take
I want you to calm down, because I don't want you to suddenly collapse
Hey, pal,
from
not on this
apoplexy.
show.
of all the things that are wrong with me, and I got a myriad of them, having hypertension is one of the things I don't have.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, great.
But you want it.
Hey, rather to burn up than to rust out.
Hypertension, is that high blood? No, it's got to do with the heart and
Yes,
the amount of blood.
hypertension is high blood pressure, Phil.
Yes.
But even when I had heart problems,
And
I never
hypotension
had-
is low blood pressure, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
even when I had heart issues, never had high blood pressure. That was one of the things that threw off the cardiologist that I saw 6 weeks before I had the heart surgery. I passed a heart stress test, something that the guy said I shouldn't have been able to do, but I was able to do it because of the way they do the tests. And as you know, as I'm sure Alan knows, one of the tests is they inject you with a dye and they see how the heart is pumping. Well, my heart was pumping seemingly normally, but it just wasn't moving a lot of blood because I had closed up arteries.
So the heart scan that you're talking about would have detected that, Jack. I don't know.
It didn't detect it.
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
Well,
that
it
happened.
Well, then
doesn't-
again, you're doing your medicine in Texas, so
Right.
But that's why I got angioplasties, because then they send this wire up there with a camera and they're able to figure out if you got blockages. They really can't do it.
Angioplasty.
I-
I got a hold of angio the other day to fix some of my plumbing.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Oh, that was Angio's
them.
list. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get the angioplasty till I was in the hospital, and about 3 days before I had the bypasses.
Yeah. Well, I got 3 angioplasties, and one of them, they gave me the angioplasty, and then as they were doing it, they discovered that I had another artery that was 100% blocked.
Boy, is this getting to be another show that young people would want to listen to.
Rand Paul did all three of them, right?
Yeah, and but hey, Alan, you don't have to worry about high blood pressure. You don't have any blood pressure, but
No, I give everybody else high blood pressure.
yeah.
That's what my wife said about me.
Actually, I take high blood pressure medicine. Yeah, just to be on the safe side. Yeah. I mean, I'm not terribly off the grid, but my doctor felt it would be good for me to take it. You
Hey,
know.
I want to ask Phil and Alan something. We have.
You don't want to ask me anything?
No, well,
I
you can
feel
chime
left
in.
out. It's my show, and I
chime
feel
in.
left out. Go ahead.
Do you know that currently we have in our prison system more people than any other country in the world?
Yes.
And still, we got 1 million plus people.
You know why?
Is
Tell
there
me
a
why.
question in here?
Other countries kill them first.
Oh, bullshit, Phil.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
That's
Jack-
another Republican escape tactic.
Jack, you said you wanted to ask a question. You made
Here's
a
the
statement.
question.
You didn't ask
All
a
right,
question.
here's the question. Why don't these other countries have the same problem? How come they don't have it in Germany? How come they don't have it in France or England or Australia or France or Spain or Portugal
Or China.
or
They
China?
don't have the population.
How about Australia? It was
China's
and it
got
was.
40 times
How about
more.
Australia? And at one time, it was a prison colony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole place is a prison.
No,
But these
we create a system that creates criminals. I think.
people, you know,
I knew a guy who had spent. I met him when he was like 40 something, and he had spent already half of his life in prison.
nice guy, huh?
Good guy. Turned
Oh.
out to be a very
Oh
good
yeah, I'm
man.
sure. Upstanding citizen.
Yeah, just a pillar of the
It
community.
He
depends
got
on
caught
what you can
stealing a
see.
candy bar in
It
Texas,
de-
and he went to prison for life.
That was hey, listen, I knew a guy right after I got here who went to life for one joint.
Yep.
Honestly.
Went to jail for life for one joint.
For
and he
life?
wasn't for life. And he wasn't some black guy with no job. He was a locally known journalist.
And he got life for one joint.
Life for
One joint in
Yeah.
Dallas County.
I don't know.
and,
something's
and the
wrong with
articles
this
that he
picture.
used to write.
Well, sure, yeah, because hey, the powers that be didn't like the fact that he told
Hey,
the
listen! I got out of Houston just ahead of the cops who were planning on planting pot on me because I was within a couple of days of running a story on my show about how the local police department in Houston, Texas, was running Ku Klux Klan meetings on Tuesday.
Well, that's probably
Okay,
true, though.
and when I found that out, and they found out that I found that out, they were planning on planting pot on me. I got the story from somebody. I got out of town about a day before they were going to plant it on me.
And that was confirmed by a guy that Alex worked with that he and I both knew, told me about it after Alex had left town.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Jerry Thomas used to follow you
Yeah?
on we were doing the evening show.
And where
He
did
told
he
me-
find out?
He found out from some cop buddies of his.
Yeah.
But wasn't it normal to have Ku Klux Klan parties just like Kiwanis meetings and
Why have
Oh,
it?
oh,
Not
yeah.
at the fucking police department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wouldn't they have to have a meeting on a Saturday? Why have it during the week?
Why? The Ku Klux Klan are Jews? What?
Oh,
I think everybody has to work the next day, Saturday.
if this was my show, Tony, I'd ring the bell for you for that one.
That's how stupid they are. Well, how about on a Tuesday? Everybody's got to go to work the next day.
Repressionistic forces love the police departments because I have yet to meet only one cop that didn't have a certain authoritarian quality about it.
Well, I am experimenting with learning if restorative justice is a better way to go. When offered the opportunity to do what I'm doing, I figured, hey, the justice system isn't really working, and incarceration may not be the way to go.
Are you
And-
studying what they're doing in other countries?
Well, they're doing
Has
it in a
nothing
few
to
other
do with other
counties,
countries.
but
Well,
Uh,
no, I'm just asking, are you studying what they do in other countries?
no.
Why not?
It wasn't part of the training.
Well, maybe you ought
Well,
to bring that up.
part of our problem is that in the case of prisons and so on, what do we call them? We call them correctional institutions. But they don't correct anything. They just throw somebody in there and throw away the key. There's no correctional process going on.
Some people aren't savable.
You know
But
what
then
they
there,
do
again,
in-
there are some
you
that
know
are.
what they do in
Phil,
Japan?
almost everybody, unless they have a really bad mental problem, okay, are savable. The
And
problem
if they have
is
mental problems,
we've put them on the edges of society.
You know, if they have a bad mental problem, then they probably get hired by the police department to be police officers.
Well, that's a different kind
and
of.
certainly
Well,
they'd
they
be hired
call
by
Jack's show.
and certainly they'd be hired by a police department in some sections of Texas. Luckily, Houston and Dallas aren't as bad as they used to be.
Unfortunately, you don't live
Houston
there,
used to be terrible.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
lives there.
I mean,
now.
as witnessed by, well, Jack agreeing with the story I told, because he had corroboration on it. You know,
And it wasn't corroboration I went and asked anybody about.
How come?
what'd you say? Well, let Jack finish what he was saying. What?
This wasn't corroboration that I asked anybody about.
Mhm.
This is somebody who came to me and said, I know you're a friend of Bennett's and I know you've known him for a long time. I want to tell you what the police were getting ready to do.
Yeah.
And we weren't at the same radio station. We were
Right.
at competing stations.
I wonder why.
No, in those days we weren't a competing station
Well, that's true.
because you were the black station.
Well, I always contended anytime you played an Aretha Franklin record on a top 40 station, you were competing with me at that time.
Yeah, right.
How come they were after you in Houston? They were after you in Miami. What is the correlation here that the police are always after Alex Bennett?
They were assholes. Florida was the worst. What happened to me in Florida?
Now, did you get pulled over in Golden Isle or?
No,
or one
no,
of
it was
those?
on the causeway.
Yeah.
You probably ran over an alligator
163rd?
first.
Huh?
163rd Street Causeway. Which causeway?
I can't remember which one it was now. It was the one with the radio station was right off of it to the side. It was actually built into the causeway.
Really?
Yeah.
Bill, I guarantee you, if you spent a couple of years living in the part of the country that I live in, and have lived most of my adult life in,
I mean, free Texas?
no,
Land
Southern
of the free,
America,
home of the brave?
Southern America,
Yeah.
you'd have perhaps a completely different attitude about the police
I
department.
lived in South Florida for
How long?
a year and a half.
I don't think he's going to change his attitude. He was a cop for over 20 years. You know, it's just like me. I don't think living in Texas would make me think different about being a police officer.
If it wasn't for the weather there, I'd love to live there.
No, you wouldn't, because the weather here, the only reason I live here is I'm too lazy to get out. But I'm planning on doing that here pretty soon.
But I was there in January of one year, and it was so cold you'd freeze your balls
Can
off.
I say something here? You know, I got to tell you that if I were younger right now, I'd leave this country because this country is in a lot of trouble morally.
Alex, I
morally.
said that the other night. I've been thinking that now for a couple of years.
Yeah,
All
but we're getting a
started with
little too
Donald
old to
Trump.
do it, you know? I mean, what do? I go somewhere else and I got to start a whole new life and I'm not young enough to start it, you know?
But you're young enough to end it there.
Well, you know, I mean, quite frankly, I'm fed up with this country. I'm fed up with the morality of it. I mean, this latest thing with the Supreme Court just makes me see that the future of this country is bleak.
So
just
divided.
bleak.
And wait till the economy goes in the
Forget
dumper.
about being divided. America
And
is
I'll ask-
becoming
I'll ask-
exactly what it wants to be, and that's a nation of racist, opinionated people who can't see that other people have a right to live as well. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just getting
Especially
ugly. It's just
fetuses.
getting too ugly. Now you see, now you're getting back to that. Forget about that.
And
I
Phil,
mean-
when has this country not been divided? It's always been divided.
Well,
Between the
right
haves
now,
and-
yeah, that's true. It always has been divided. Look at what happened in the Civil War. Yes, this country has always been divided.
Hey, I
And-
want to say this, and it's going to piss a lot of people off.
I know what you're going to say, and it's the same thing I've been saying for years. Go ahead.
Well, say it again, Alex. Can I get you to testify?
When those people wanted to secede from the Union, we should have let them.
Should have said, "Don't let the doorknob hit you where the
Oh,
Lord
no,
puts
no, that's not what Jack was going to say. Jack was going to say McDonald's hamburgers are on sale.
No, what were you going to say, Jack? Was that what you were going to say?
I was going to say, that in its entirety.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would have just said, why fight a war over this? Just go ahead. Goodbye.
So
There
basically,
was
Alex,
there was some other reasons that they fought the war. I guess economically it made sense to
Made sense only for the North.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense for the South.
Well, that's the division.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one of the divisions.
I mean, the
But
South.
when your
the-
economy is based upon stealing the labor and lives of people, that doesn't count.
Why? Do you believe slavery was okay, Phil?
No, of course not.
Gee,
Well, there were
I-
people that did.
I go, there's an essay by Emerson called Compensation, and it's something I live my life by, that I believe that people need to be compensated for their work to have self-worth. And I support that in every way, shape, and form. And so I pay, whether people want to get paid or not, I still pay because I believe that that's an inalienable right.
So, Phil, does that mean that you're for restitution to Black America for 400 years of not
No.
getting paid?
And I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because you can't have restitution for one group and not another.
All
There's
right.
no restitution for the Japanese. There's no restitution
Wait a
for
minute,
Jews.
that's not true.
They did for Japanese.
Really?
Because
Name
they
it.
actually took their homes in the last generation.
Well,
you know,
the thing is,
And
hey,
who-
look,
who are
I
you-
could have been home in Uganda running me a goddamn
right.
country rather than
Who
being
is
here.
who are they taking restitution for? Was I a Dutch trader that took slaves from Africa
If you take a look
and brought them over here?
If you take a look at the corporations that still exist that made money off of the slave trade, you'd be shocked.
You know, it's a
I'll
funny
start
thing
the
you
Chase
mentioned.
Manhattan Bank.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing you mentioned that. I was listening to the guy from Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, and he said he read off a list of companies that were the movers and shakers 30 years ago, IBM, a number of other companies. Where are they now? Where the top companies are Apple with $2 trillion, I believe, in value. So if you look at the top 30 companies today and you look at the top 30 companies 20, 30 years ago, they're nowhere to be found.
Well, maybe those that are still around, even if they're not in the top 30, ought to pony up the money they owe.
well, they're also
Well,
because they're old. They're old line companies that had products that are kind of anachronistic now.
Yeah.
That's the reason why, Phil. And the day is going to come, or one day you're going to think, did you think Apple would ever go out of business?
Exactly. And that's what Buffett was saying, is that, what you think is unsinkable now, things change. And, it was very interesting. I love watching Buffett and his partner, Charlie Munger. These guys are brilliant. And, when you sit back and listen to the knowledge.
What did
that
I see yesterday? They lost something like $235 million.
Who's that? Oh, Berkshire Hathaway?
Yeah.
Drop in the bucket.
200. No, excuse me.
shares of the stock.
$230,000 a share. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's a drop in the bucket.
though it's a very high,
Yeah.
Very, very deep bucket, Alex.
very deep bucket. Hey, there's our theme song. Jack better get his ass moving
Yeah.
here.
Hey,
'Cause
Jack
this-
is getting his ass moving
would you care to tell him you're going to be on next with the intersection?
right after the top of the hour.
That's right.
Enjoy
Well,
it. Hey, Tony Magno, you call in and we'll talk about.
Your prostate.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we won't talk. We'll talk about that food he likes that he gets on the weekend. And his mother said, "Don't use that word again."
He likes yodels.
Does he like yodels?
Yodels.
Yodels?
I was eating Yankee Doodles today, Alex. I think.
A Yankee
They were on
Doodles.
sale for $3.
He's a real American.
Wow, they were on sale for $3. Yodels for $3. Can you imagine how much were they like 40 years ago? 40
Those
cents.
Those were made 40 years ago. with all the preservatives.
Yes, exactly.
He's still in the
Anyway,
same box.
thank you very much, Jack, for being with us. Also, thanks to Phil. Phil started off the show, and
Hey,
so
I like giving people high blood pressure.
and people love having you here. The numbers have gone lower than they ever have this in the last
that's
couple
great.
of weeks here. And also thanks to Alan for being here. Thank you, Alan. We appreciate it. Charlie, always a pleasure. Always great. Jeff, always good to see you here. And of course, Tony, you didn't get to talk much, but we think the world of you and your prostate. Anyway, we'll huh?
I think I should make this. I don't check.
Yeah, anyway. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel. They're gone for the night. But they'll be back again tomorrow night. They'll be here at 10:30. Daylight, Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Same time, same Daylight Savings Time, same station. As always, if you see her, please do me a favor and tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.